March. Ball down left. Come above, right. Forward. Stand back. March. Come half right, come half left. March. Come half right, march. Come half left. March. Come plus from the right. Forward. Stand back. March. Come half right, come half left. March. Come half right. March. Come half left. March. Come file from the right. Forward. Stand back. March. Come half right, come half left. March. Come half right. March. Come half left. March.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Goochland High School. At this time, would you please stand and remove your hats for the presentation of colors by the Goochland High School Marine Corps Junior ROTC Color Guide. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for a reading of the Marine's Prayer by Colonel Joe Wadley. The Marine's Prayer. Almighty Father, whose command is over all and whose love never fails, make me aware of thy presence and obedient to thy will. Keep me true to the best self, guarding me against dishonesty in purpose and deed, and helping me to live and believe so that I can face my fellow Marines, my loved ones, and thee without shame or fear. Protect my family. Give me the will to do the work of a Marine and to accept my share of responsibilities with vigor and enthusiasm. Grant me the courage to be proficient in my daily performance of duties. Keep me loyal and faithful to my supervisors and superiors, and to the duties my country and the Marine Corps have entrusted to me. Make me considerate of those committed to my leadership. Help me to wear my uniform with dignity and to let it remind me daily of the traditions which I must uphold. If I am inclined to doubt, steady my faith. If I am tempted, make me strong to resist. If I should miss the mark, give me the courage to try again. Guide me with the light of truth and grant me the wisdom by which I may understand the answer to my prayer. Amen.
Amen.
Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, before we begin our program this afternoon, I'd like to publicly thank Colonel Wade for his efforts in putting together today's ceremony. What you will see and hear this afternoon would not have been possible without his tireless efforts. Please join me in thanking Colonel Joe Wade for a job well done. A special thank you to our cadets. Staff Sergeant Strong and I are very proud of each of you for stepping forward and having the courage to try something new. Today's commissioning is for them. They are the plank owners, the foundation of this new program at Goochland High School. There is another group with us today that I'd like us all to acknowledge. Our veterans. For without them, we would not have the many rights and freedoms that some of us sometimes take for granted. Would all those who have served in any of our armed forces please stand and be recognized. Ladies and gentlemen, our veterans. We are also honored to have with us today Mr. Ralph Ingalls, the Acting Director of the JROTC program. And Sergeant Major LaHue, the Marine Corps Training and Education Command Sergeant Major. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us this afternoon. There are also many members of our school system and community whose hard work, dedication, and vision are the reasons that Goochland County is able to celebrate the beginning of a Marine Corps JROTC program today. Rather than reading off the names and having each of them speak to you briefly about that journey is more appropriate. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the chairman of the Goochland School Board, Mr. Michael Payne.
Good afternoon. I'd like to thank everyone in attendance today. As you heard, I'm Michael Payne, District 1 Representative, current Chairman of the School Board. In Goochland County Public Schools, our strategic plan, we state our vision, inspiring the next generation to make a positive impact. Goochland County Public Schools share core values that the Marine Corps JROTC instilled into the cadets enrolled in the program we are commissioning today. Honor, a code of personal integrity. Honor guides those who do the right thing no one else is looking. It is not only a duty, but also also a distinction, as those who possess honor are held in honor. It is found in one's belief, but exhibited through one's actions. In Goochland County Public Schools, we value honor, and we are unwaveringly committed to the truth, to the personal integrity, and to supporting what is right and vigorous, and actively hindering what is not. Courage. When the other principles are tested, it's the courage that prevents them from crumbling. It's ignoring fear, but being stronger than fear. Courage is the guardian of all other values. It is there when times are tough, when the difficult decisions have to be made. It takes the form of mental, physical, and ethical strength, and is found in the backbone of every Marine. In Goochland County Public Schools, we value courage and will establish an environment in which individuals seek to have purposeful and positive impact, advocating for themselves and others at all times. Commitment. Commitment is the spirit of determination found in every Marine. It is what compels Marines to serve our nation and the Corps, and continue on when others quit. Commitment doesn't take breaks and cannot be faked. It is measured and proves one's desire, dedication, and faithfulness. Becoming a United States Marine represents the highest level of commitment. Commitment is not written into our core values, but I know I speak for the entire school board and school division when I say we are committed. We are committed to inspiring the next generation to make a positive impact. The Marine Corps JROTC program is a great addition to the opportunities offered to our students at Goochland High School. In closing, I would like to thank everyone who has been involved in making this day become a reality. A special thank you to the Goochland County Board of Supervisors, who without their support, this day could not have happened. Thank you for your time. Next will be Dr. Lane.
Welcome to Goochland High School, and thank you for joining me as we honor our new Marine Corps Junior Reserve Officers Training Corps, commonly referred to as JROTC. I did some research on JROTC when we were first thinking about this, and I remember reading this sentence. The modern JROTC program capitalizes on its mission to provide a course of leadership education designed to develop informed citizens, strengthening character by the teaching of discipline and developing the understanding of the responsibilities of citizenship. It was when we read that we knew this program was right for our high school. We're so proud to bring this opportunity to the students in Goochland. We believe that all of our students have the potential to be leaders, and even in these first few weeks of school, I've been extremely impressed with the new culture forming in our schools. I also want to thank our veterans, but I also want to thank those that are here that are on current active duty. All of us here would like to thank you for your faithful service and the sacrifices you and your families have made and will make for our nation. I would also like to thank the school board, and Board of Supervisors for your leadership in bringing this program to Goochland. It takes a significant financial commitment for the county to host this program each year, and we are impressed with your vision and dedication providing the best for our students. So will the school board members please stand and be recognized? Thank you. And Board of Supervisors members, please stand and be recognized as well. Thank you. The story of how we brought JROTC to Goochland started even before I came. But what I saw while I was here, I think I have to give a special thanks to Mr. Payne, our school board chairman, for his leadership in developing career and technical education programs in Goochland. It was through his focus that discussions began around JROTC, and Mr. Payne's advocacy has extended from Washington, D.C. to the Goochland Courthouse, and we would not be here without his leadership. Thank you. I would also like to introduce you to Bruce Watson, our Director of Career and Technical Education. Bruce, I won't make you stand, but please do if you want to. Bruce has been the man behind the scenes, coordinating every aspect of this program, even in the application phase, and is another person that is responsible for making this day a reality. Thank you so much, Bruce. Next, I'd like to introduce you to Mr. Newman, our amazing high school principal. Mr. Newman and his leadership team were given 3 years to recruit 75 cadets, and we stand here today with over 120 students ready to serve as the next generation of leaders. Thank you, Mr. Newman. I'd like to say thanks to our new JROTC instructors, Major Petrozello and Staff Sergeant Strong. We sought the absolute best instructors in the nation, and we are so proud that you have joined our team. I'm so impressed with your leadership, caring, and focus. Thank you for choosing Goochland and moving your families here. You are my heroes. Finally, to our students, I'd like to say thank you for taking on this new challenge. Whether you choose to go to college, into the world of work, or to service to our nation, we are proud of you and thank you for being leaders that first chose to take on this challenge in Goochland. We will have many classes in the future, but you are the first. You are the trailblazers. To our entire community, thank you for being here to celebrate this special day with us. I'd like to now bring up Mr. Alvarez, the Chairman of the Board of Supervisors.
Thank you. I hope I can deal with that. I am very proud to be here before you today, representing the Goochland County Board of Supervisors. It is indeed a great honor, especially surrounded by so many heroes and so many people I admire. When campaigning for office about 3 years ago, some days it feels like it was yesterday, but it's been 3 years, Kevin Hazard, a school board member, and I visited more than 1,000 homes in Goochland, in our district. The conversations almost always started with, what are you going to do about the schools? And Kevin always had a couple of things that pleased the citizens. Career tech education and ROTC. And here we are today, just 3 years later, officially commissioning the Goochland High School Marine Corps Junior Officer Training Corps. I believe this program will build character, discipline, critical thinking, collaboration, and teamwork, which all lead to great leaders. Those of you who choose to participate will learn and practice skills that you would otherwise never get until much later in life. You can use those skills immediately to become better students, better citizens, better family members, and eventually, most importantly, those of you participating will become our leaders, military leaders, business leaders, industry leaders, and hopefully down the road, community leaders. So today, on behalf of the Goochland Board of Supervisors, I would like to commend and thank Mr. Newman, Mr. Watson, Dr. Lane, our school board, especially Mike Payne and Kevin, who campaigned with me, and you guys have made me very proud of being a member of our board. I also want to thank all of you who came to help us celebrate this great occasion. And want to remind people that what Mike and Kevin and the rest of the board communicated a few years ago wasn't just politics, it was a promise. And here we are today. If some might feel compelled to say mission accomplished, but knowing this group, I know they're already thinking of what's the next thing. So I thank you, and I'm proud to serve with you guys in the Goochland leadership team. Now, I believe next Mr. Newman will come and speak to you. Thank you very much.
I want to welcome everyone to Goochland High School. We're excited, we're thrilled to have you as our guest this afternoon as we dedicate and commission the Junior ROTC program. Students, I'm going to acknowledge you now for just a moment because well done. I thank you so much for getting this job done today. Thank you. And teachers, I appreciate your part too. It's my honor today to introduce our next guest. In 1971, when I first met our next guest, he had just been appointed president of the University of Richmond, where I was a second-year student. Over the next 17 years, Dr. E. Bruce Heilman provided dynamic leadership for the university that dramatically enhanced academic and campus programs. Today, Dr. Heilman's influence is still felt throughout the school, and he remains actively involved serving as Chancellor of the university. Dr. Heilman is widely recognized as a renowned and respected educator. He received his BA, MA, and PhD from Vanderbilt University, and he holds many academic distinctions from around the world. In 1984 and in 1986, he was selected as one of the 100 most effective college and university presidents in the U.S. through an Exxon Foundation study. Most importantly, today, Dr. Heilman also served as a United States Marine during the World War II Pacific Campaign, where he had many experiences in the South Pacific and Japan. He has been described as a man of great character and the embodiment of honor, courage, and commitment. It is my privilege today and an honor for me to present to you my university president, Dr. E. Bruce Heilman.
Who would ever anticipate when I handed the principal his college degree that 40 years later I would be testing him again to see how well he introduced me. And he did a right good job, I would say. All of you who have preceded me, and there were many, let me say, welcome to this occasion in that I'm introducing the speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm in dress blues because the two colonels who have a great deal to do with this, the one who instituted it all and the one who's speaking, had their dress blues, and I didn't want colonels to outrank us sergeants. So I think that with all of that which is on the program, for me to introduce too many folks that haven't been introduced, and I know they should have been probably, would be overdoing it. So I'm going to cut short even the introduction of the person who's wearing the most ribbons, and that's the speaker. My one hash mark and 3 stripes may not measure up to the legacy of Colonel Wes Fox, But when I signed to go off to war in World War II, I was doing what every Marine does, laying my life on the line for my country, and that's been my pride all of these years. I've known our speaker for at least 43 years since I joined the university, and I have observed his activities. I've heard him speak, known of his work at Virginia Tech, and have held him in high regards and respect because of his unusual accomplishments. He has the credentials to back up every bit of it. Rather than reading a resume, which is already in the program, I acknowledge that he served in every climb and place, held every position in rank to Master Sergeant, and in the Officers Corps all the way up to full Colonel. He has displayed honor, courage, and commitment while serving his combat wounds more than once. He's earned every available award, has honored himself, his country, and his Corps. And I want not to distort that by going into too much detail, but I mustn't overlook the Medal of Honor. It speaks for itself. The Bronze Star, Purple Heart 3 times, Meritorious Service Medal, Navy Commendation, and a Combat Action Ribbon all speak for the undergirding of what he did that reinforces his receiving the Medal of Honor. I stand in awe of all that he represents, and he is also, in addition to all of that, one who has jumped out of perfectly good airplanes several times. As a 17-year-old, I entered the Marine Corps and exited 4 years later as a sergeant. Colonel Fox, of course, came in following World War II and found himself in the midst of the Korean War, where my brother served dropping napalm to aid Colonel Fox and his fellow Marines after my brother had served in World War II as a Corsair pilot. I see in Colonel Fox, when I look at him, something about tenacity, determination, and courage. And more than that, he reminds me of my drill instructor in boot camp, who was a 5-striper just back from Guadalcanal, who said to us in language that some of you will understand, "You sons of wonderful mothers, learn to join that bayonet in that dummy, or some Jap's going to jam one in your tummy." I see in Colonel Fox that kind of direct, uncompromising attention to duty as a leader of his troops. I would like to say, as an educator to those engaged here in this program along with the Marines, that I see great pride for the institution that you represent, for the students who are already engaged, and for allowing me to introduce a large personality that will be the foundation of strength for this school as you remember your speaker and what he did to set the example. I can attest to the fact that there will be nothing that will provide more pride-filling adventures in the minds and hearts of these young people and these young women and men and their service as Marines here and for many later in the Marine Corps perhaps. And I must say one thing that pops into my mind when I see these youngsters. They're 16 and 17 years of age, I think. I went into the Marine Corps at age 17. I grew 4 inches taller after I was in the Marine Corps. I had not grown up, so I understand what they're going through. To all Marines, those who will become Marines through this program, I present Colonel Wes Fox, a Marine, and to the rest of you, Semper Fidelis.
Thanks also to Colonel Joe Waddell in setting this up, making it happen, and locking me on for it. Didn't give me any slack. Young Americans, my wife Dottie Lou, my daughter Nicole Lynn McCabe, and my granddaughter Millie McCabe are really pleased to join in this occasion with you. And my message is not only to the tomorrow's Marines, but all the young Americans here in this great school. I want to talk a little bit about me, and then I want to move on to you. I grew up during World War II, too young to make it. Bruce was out there doing it. My cousins, however, were all involved in it, and I became aware of a desire to serve my country in uniform. But the war was over before I had the opportunity. I was on a farm, loved farming, and knew I'd be a farmer for life. And if it hadn't been for the Korean War coming along, I probably would have. But the Korean War came along, that's my opportunity. And to back up a second, another thing that impressed me with service to our country was my school, Warren County school system up in Front Row. Every day started with the Lord's Prayer and the pledge to our flag. And then we would sing one of our service songs every morning. I really liked that. What really got me were my teachers that would line us up out on the playground in formation and lead us in calisthenics, getting in shape to serve my country. Got this little mind working. So as I mentioned, when the Korean War came along, I'm going to leave the farm for 4 years. Why the Marines? I didn't know another Marine in that farm country. There were no Marines. None of my cousins were in the Marines. Didn't know one. But Hollywood had impressed me with Sands of Iwo Jima and old John Wayne and all that they showed me in the movies. So I made up my mind, I want to be a Marine. First Marine I ever saw was my recruiter. And the first Marine I ever hated was my drill instructor. I was off to the Korean War. I was really impressed with my Marine Rifle Squad leader, Corporal Davis, and his manner of leading us in combat with the message that he cared about me. Everything that he did sent us the message, how important that we were to him. Well, I got medevaced out of Korea before I was ready to leave that new family, my rifle squad. And by the time I got out of Bethesda Hospital, my enlistment had moved on, and I had to re-enlist to get to go back to Korea. Well, that all happened, but the time I got back, the shooting, the war was over, and as far as the combat was concerned. And I learned other things that I wanted to do in the Marines that I couldn't get done in 4 years, so I re-enlisted. You know, 43 years later, the Marine Corps kicked me out. You can't serve after age 62. Why? What's the problem? My memoir, Marine Rifleman, 43 years in the Corps, gives you an example of what I went through. I won't go through all that here today. But in that book, there are 14 chapters, my rank, private to colonel. And at the end of each chapter, you young guys, I listed lessons learned. Don't mess up the way I did. A Marine can write a book. Can you believe this Marine has 3 published? But enough on me. I want to talk about you. How fast life moves. Full of dead-end streets, wasted efforts and energy, and contributors to that, tobacco. I remember as a kid on the farm, that every kid's, they smoked. Give me a cigarette. Smoked them.
got that sick? And John said, here, have another one, you get used to it. Hey, if it makes you that sick, it can't be good for you. So I never smoked. All of those young men, buddies are long gone. Thanks to cigarettes. It does serve a purpose. Our world is overpopulated, right? Tobacco works for that. Alcohol, same problem. I never had the money to buy it. I never had the need to use it. So young guys and gals, you get my age, I hope you're able to say, I've never been intoxicated, I've never been drunk. But you got to think about it. Where are you going with your life? Drugs. Never had any experience, don't know anything about drugs. My point is, if one is not happy with who he or she is, does kidding themselves with drugs or alcohol change anything? A roadmap of life is needed. Where do you want to go? Where do you want to be in 5 years? What about midlife? What about retirement? Think about that. When you retire, you want to be healthy enough to enjoy life, to continue to do the things that you couldn't do when you had to work. That's what retirement's all about. But too many of my buddies retire and it's over. They were out of here because of what we just talked about. And again, it goes back to planning. Why not every one of you have the goal of being the president of our great country? And to get again on the personal side, you. Who are you? How are you known by others? Are you the guy that your friends would say, you can take his word to the bank? Or, he's the guy I'd like to ride the river with. You know, we really have to think about ourselves and how our fellows, our friends, our family, and those that we care about, and everybody, sees us and regards us. Integrity. Not easy. Courage is required. We each have direct influence on what others see. And I'm not talking about material things like rings all over the head, hair down on the ground, or today, the belt line down around our knees. But the personal integrity of the individual, your word, your honesty. The trait of integrity is important, but I don't place it first. I give first place in our traits to courage, because without courage, we give in on our integrity. We accept the easier option rather than the harder correct actions. We remain seated when we should stand and be counted on an issue. The two traits, courage and integrity, go well together, and they will take one far. The beautiful thing about both is that you choose to have or not to have them, especially integrity. It's entirely up to you. Make the decision now, young Americans. It doesn't matter about yesterday. You start forward now. From this day forward, how do you want to be seen by those with whom you are involved? The people in your life. Fellow Americans, thanks for the occasion to spend a little time with you, and I really love what's going on here in your movement with the Marines. Again, as I mentioned earlier, I never knew a Marine until I met my recruiter. Can't believe there's so many Marines here today. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. How about another round of applause for Colonel Fox? All right, Bulldogs. It's got the right mascot and the right colors, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, the Quantico Marine Corps Band will now perform for us. Ladies and gentlemen, the Quantico Marine Corps Band. Let's give them another round of applause. The Marines before you represent 65 years of marching and rifle drill precision. Premiering at Marine Barracks, Washington, D.C., during the Sunset Parades of 1948. These Marines performed their precision drill in dozens of public appearances throughout the United States. each year for hundreds of thousands of spectators. In addition, they represent the Marine Corps at numerous ceremonies in the national capital area, honoring visiting dignitaries and heads of state. Comprised of highly trained infantry Marines from Marine Barracks, Washington, D.C., the silent drill platoon executes its drill sequence without cadence or verbal command. The M1 rifles they carry, with fixed bayonets, weigh in excess of 10½ pounds. Representing Marines around the world, the silent drill platoon demonstrates the finest in Marine professionalism, esprit de corps, and discipline. The platoon sergeant is Staff Sergeant Bert Chambers from Plainview, Oregon. The platoon rifle inspector is Corporal James Schultz of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Ladies and gentlemen, Marine Barracks, Washington, D.C. proudly presents the United States Marine Corps Silent Drill Platoon. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, would you please stand, remove your hats, and direct your attention to the end zone for a salute to our fallen servicemen and women.
There.